I get this question consistently from buyers that I'm working with, and that is, what purchase price should I be looking at? Now, this is not even accounting for how much someone can qualify for. It's more about how does this home purchase factor into your monthly cash flow, lifestyle, etc. Because that's what's really important is how much you're comfortable spending, not just how much you can qualify for. So, what I like to do with buyers is work backwards and work off of let's establish what monthly payment would be comfortable for you to maintain your lifestyle, maintain the savings amount that you want, still be able to go out to eat, on vacation, whatever you like to do on a monthly or yearly basis. We want to factor that into the amount of home that you should be purchasing. So, step one is establish what that monthly payment looks like for you. What I always recommend is just take out a blank sheet of paper and write down all of the monthly expenses that you have and think about what amount of mortgage payment would make sense for you. And again, take into account how much you want to be saving per month, any future plans, whether that's expecting kids and you have to account for daycare costs, if your job is unstable and you're maybe expecting a pay decrease. It's really dependent on your comfortability, your lifestyle, and your relationship with money is really what it comes down to. And another reason I want to work off of the monthly payment is home purchase prices can really differ in terms of monthly payment amounts depending on a few factors. And the big ones are going to be tax amounts because different neighborhoods and different areas have different tax amounts. And the big one is HOA fees. So if you're looking at two $300,000 homes, that monthly payment could be different for both of them depending on if they have an HOA or even if it's in an area where it's a flood zone and insurance is going to be higher. You have to factor all of these things in to your decision. So my recommendation is start with the purchase price. And then as you're interested in homes, make sure that you're running numbers for them before you get too deep into it, either emotionally attached or you get to the point where you're ready to make an offer. You want to make sure you know what you're getting into before you're taking those steps because until you get into the process, sometimes it can be too late and you're stuck with a mortgage payment that's uncomfortable for you. A general rule of thumb is going off of 1/3 of your gross monthly income should be what you factor in for a mortgage payment. Now, that is not blanket advice that everyone should be taking because, again, maybe you're a little bit more conservative with your money and you want that lower mortgage payment. You shouldn't max out that 1/3 rule of thumb and you shouldn't max out your qualification. Just because you're qualified for it doesn't mean that you should be buying it. So 1/3 is what I tell people is the max that they should be considering. So let's show a quick example of what that looks like. So let's say you make $7,000 in monthly gross income. So if we take 1/3 of that, a monthly mortgage payment would be just over $2,300 per month. And that is factoring in taxes, insurance, principal, and interest. So a housing payment, you want to consider everything, not just what your principal and interest payment are going to be, because you're still liable to pay the taxes and insurance along with that. So let's say a car payment of $450. You want to save $500 per month, and you want to account for $300 per month to go into a savings account to save up for the vacation that you've wanted to take all year. Let's say $200 per month on dining, entertainment. If we're working backwards off of all that, this is a scenario that very much makes sense. There's still wiggle room in there to allow for any emergencies that come up. You're still putting money into a savings account and you're maintaining the lifestyle that you want to maintain. So if we're working backwards off of that monthly payment, you're looking at a purchase price around $300,000. Now, again, it depends on a lot of things, what area you're buying in and the tax rates, your credit score, and the interest rate that you get. So there's a lot of factors. This is just for example's sake. But this is what I always tell my clients to run through is get everything on a sheet of paper and decide if you're buying with a spouse, make sure that they're involved in the conversation and figure out what would be comfortable for you on a month-to-month basis and work backwards from there, because only bad things happen if you're just looking at the purchase price. So if you're curious about what mortgage payment makes sense for you, not just what you can qualify for, book time on my link tree below. The link is in the description, and we'll walk through it together and make sure that you're being left better off than when you purchased the home, not in a more uncomfortable situation.